Okay, good evening. Welcome everyone to the Tuesday, November 24th. Today's Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir.
2020, the regular meeting of the Town of Easton Historical Commission. In keeping with the ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings and to maximize social distancing, and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during the emergency declaration, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board and commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. The meeting will be available on ECAT. While conducting the meeting remotely, we will endeavor to keep the meeting operations as close to our stated procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While board, commission members, and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as attendees, meaning they are muted and will have no video feed from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raise their hand function on Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. If you are joining by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If the applicant wishes to display materials, please make a request to the chair and email the materials to the board staff for sharing. And there are further instructions available on the Historical Commission agenda, which is posted on the town's website. So to ensure we have a quorum, we can do a roll call. Strange here.
Spencer here.
Bishop.
Wolf here.
Okay, and then could we designate Bob and Mickey as voting members for this meeting?
So moved. Can I do it that way?
I think so.
Why not, right?
Do we
Yeah,
have
so
a second, Amy?
everybody will be
Second.
full members. Oh, sorry. All those in favor, strange eye.
Spencer, I.
Bishop, aye.
Wolf, I.
We're so official and efficient. Okay, so I don't have. Go ahead, Wayne. The only thing is I don't have.
Next up is the September 29th minutes. We haven't actually gotten the draft minutes yet from Karen Gallo, who was not able to attend that meeting. She said she'd look at the ECAT recording and do the minutes from that. I haven't heard from her, so I'll follow up with Karen and see if we can get a draft of those minutes, and then we can consider them at a future meeting.
I'm assuming she'll do the same thing for this one.
Presumably, I've not heard from her. I'm trying to keep rough notes my own self in case there's something going on that I can, put together some quick outline minutes if need be. And then the next item on the agenda is the demolition review application for 130 Lincoln Street. We've got Kathleen Green from the Friends Crossing Condo Association representing the applicant who applied for demolition permit for the property. I sent around the demolition review application and the Massachusetts Historical Commission inventory form ahead of this meeting for the commission members to consider. As folks are aware, there's a several step process. The first is at this meeting for the commission to consider whether or not the structure is historically significant. If it is not historically significant, we notify the building inspector and he can issue a demolition permit. If the commission determines it is historically significant, we then move to a public hearing within the next 30 days, which would be Christmas Eve is our 30-day mark. We have to notify the abutters by mail, post it at town hall, and at that public hearing, make a determination that the structure is not preferably preserved, is not preferably preserved subject to conditions, or is preferably preserved, at which point a 12-month demolition delay period sets in. So that is a brief overview of demolition review and of the demolition review application for 130 Lincoln Street we have before us. Has everyone had a chance to look over the application and the inventory form? And I've promoted Ms. Green to a panelist, and I think she can unmute herself and talk if she feels so moved. And you know, it's Greg's meeting, of course, but I think that's kind of the flow.
I visually looked it over. I apologize. I couldn't drive by to look at it, but I did look at everything that came through on the computer.
Yes, I drive by it 4 to 5 times a day. So, and then I usually throw rocks at Tim's house. So, does Ms. Green have a presentation or any she cares to give, or an audio?
Hi.
Hi.
The cottage, as we refer to it as,
Excuse me, Kathleen, if I could just interrupt you for a second, just before I forget, if you could just state your name and address for the record. Sorry.
certainly, it's Kathleen Green, 5 Mary Dyer Lane in Friends Crossing,
Great. Thank you very much.
Easton.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
So because the cottage is a part of the community, we had to take a vote as to what people wanted to do with the cottage. And the vote was to demo it. And because it's unsafe the way it is right now. The roof is falling through and well, you can see the condition when you drove by. It's not anything, the floors have collapsed on the inside. So the community voted to have it, to demo it and to just green area, make a green area more welcoming entrance into Friends community. There's no building or any plan for that area.
Okay. And Wayne, do you have anything you'd like to add? Or anything?
I do not. Folks received the application and the inventory form. I can try to call up those documents and share a screen if that's of use to people, but I think everybody has already gotten it in advance.
Sure.
I got a couple questions in reference to it. Again, I apologize. I have not been able to get out to go visually look at it. But from what I've seen on a computer, has it been an independent to go in and assess to say that it's not salvageable? It is historic, as we all well know. To give us a little more green space in that area, I personally don't see any need for it. I mean, the building does not look to be in that much of total disrepair. But again, has there been an independent who's gone in and either given a price to repair it or to prove that it is totally unacceptable to keep the building?
We have not had a engineer come in, but we have had the Easton Fire Department deem it unsafe, a do not enter building. And that was before our floors collapsed. So it is in very much disrepair. For us to do some kind of rebuild is way over what our community can afford to do.
Sure, that's understandable. And you know, and I understand when a homeowners association or a community looks at it, and this building's been out there forever. But Wayne, isn't it, as you know, someone, I've been on historical commission for probably 10 years now, and planning board for 15 or 16, and member of CPA and a few other committees. And so often we talk about trying to, wanting to stitch some of the work that these committees do together, and it's easier said than done. But, and I'm not, and this isn't a criticism of anybody, I'm not faulting the property, but it's a shame that here's an 1840 house, if I remember, 1825. It was an old factory, if I remember, old factory house.
The Ames Cottage House.
Yeah, and it just, we're always looking at how to, for example, how to produce, affordable units. And here's a perfect example. This thing's probably, I'm looking at it now, I don't know, it's 1,000 square feet, 600 square feet, what, but it's too bad we couldn't, use it to tie together historical funds, or, historical resources, affordable housing resources, for example, and save something like that. Because, more and more, so often we see these applications that come before us, and the vast majority were like, yeah, it's been basically abandoned. It's right, floors are collapsing, it's rotting. But I can't help it. The designer in me and the builder in me looks at that and like, wow, that's really simple construction. It's not huge. That would be very easy to save. And now I know not advocating the town does it, because we know that gets very expensive. But it's just a shame, that we could. And this is a main thoroughfare right in town. It was kind of out in a nice big open green there. And I'm sure we could get our friends at planning board or ZBA to maybe allow, to investigate, a variance, for example, if anyway, to break that off into its own little smaller lot, similar to what was there back, during the factory days when we had a lot of 1,500 and 2,000 square foot lots. So anyway.
Wayne, is there any possibility that we as a commission can ask to have an independent verify, or even any of our own people? I mean, I would assume it would possibly be a conflict if either Mr. Hurley or Mr. Strange went in as builders to try and say this is good, bad, or indifferent. That's why I'm wondering, can that happen, first of all? Second of all, if that can't, can we request a professional to come in? I mean, I understand that the HOA association is looking at what their funds are, but as Greg said, it's a main thoroughfare. It's in part of the old history. It's a shame to just say, okay, let's let it go. I mean, I understand the fire department marks buildings quite frequently for their own safety, and that's understandable. But as Greg said, the sounds of what Kathleen just told us, it's repairable. But again, I apologize, I could not get out there and physically look at it, but that's why I was wondering if we could get maybe an extension and have this looked at a little further and see if everybody could work together, as Greg also mentioned.
Yeah. Just, to follow up on that, if I could, I think, for example, and I understand, I look at and I don't know the exact name of it, but the symbol, that sort of red X that the fire department has put on a few buildings. You think of the Reed House, which is on Depot Street, right at the end of Center Street. We think of the building on the downtown on the corner of Williams and Main Street,
The attorney's office.
Yeah, and the Joyce property, and there are, and then in this building. So here's 3 examples, and I guess it would just seem, I've been getting a little itchy. We're on these commission, and sometimes, it's tough because we have this dance between the staff that works for the town and then the board members, and by that I mean, it used to be just board members. We kind of did our own thing, and then staff expanded a decade or so ago, and that's good. We could certainly use the help, and it's help. But sometimes you have maybe different, everybody has different directives, for example, or different objectives. And I wonder sometimes as board members, do we or commission members, do we get lulled to sleep because like, oh, that's going to get taken care of, this is going to take care of it. And maybe to what we just said, wouldn't it be, I don't know if there's been any talk, but I know I actually received a couple of calls on this in the last couple of days. People are like, hey, why don't we see if we can get creative and, see if the owners would be amenable to see if there's a way we could save it. Certainly not on their dime, I get it, but maybe we could subdivide it, or, so I wonder if we could just ask for an extension to see if, as active members in the community, we could, we could speak with some of the staff in town. We could speak with, because we don't need to hire experts for this. This is a little house, and there's no conflict. Myself as a designer and a builder, Tim can't participate in this just because he has to recuse himself because he isn't a butter.
Okay.
The state just deems that he has a fiduciary interest in it, where he's a butter. Doesn't mean he couldn't be here participating in the audience. So anyways, it might be worth, just, you know what, kicking this off one more meeting and, see if we can find any interest. Always we see Habitat for Humanity. We're just looking at 300, Foundry Street last night, another property. Remember, Wayne, you and I, we talked about that. God, I don't know, 6, 7, it was a long time ago. It takes a while, but maybe, and who knows, maybe there's something that can't be done here, but just be a shame to, we just keep losing these. And how many are there left?
Excuse me.
Sure, go ahead, Ms. Green.
So I never said that I thought it was repairable, because in my opinion, which is not expert at all, it is not repairable. It is very much a danger the way it stands right now. And
I'm sorry if you thought
I'm saying-
I didn't say anything about you. I'm sorry if you thought I didn't speak.
No, I think it was Bob said that he
Okay.
thought I thought it was repairable. It's not, in my opinion. And now all I'm saying is that as it stands right now, it's dangerous. The hole is through the roof, the door, because we had to have, there was an oil tank in the cellar and we had to have that scraped and emptied. So the doorway is now off. So this is a very dangerous building as it stands. And I understand the importance of it being an Ames, one of the shovel factory homes, but all of Lincoln Street is Ames shovel factory homes mostly.
Right, but if I could,
So I'm just saying this one house is on our community's property. And what we're coming to you for is it's a dangerous home. It's a site that is, all we want to do is put a green area. It will look much nicer than this house with 2 trees growing through it and holes in it. And so that's my opinion. I don't see I know Tim had once thought that he would like to take it on many years ago. And at that time, the community didn't give it to him or whatever he wanted. So I think our issue is that it's been a long time coming. And this isn't going to get any better. And, now we've got a dangerous building on site.
sure. Well, I would just say, I certainly understand all that. I would just say that, there are many Ames worker houses in Easton, but most of them are not in their original state. They've been altered quite a bit through the years, the vast majority of them. And, we're the historical commission. So if we don't think about saving things, then why are we here? And I guess I just wonder, and I'll be done with it at this. I'm just wondering, since this came on our plate, why couldn't we just look to continue this one meeting? The building's been in this state for quite some time. I don't think an extra month is going to, I don't think there's going to be any expedited deterioration over the next month.
I guess what I'm asking is, what is the month going to do? What would you find yourself doing in a month?
See if we could come up with a scenario in which this building could be saved.
Again, I agree with that. That's what I was just going to say, the same thing. If based on your information of being totally unsafe, I'm sure any number of people, whether it be contractors in the city or from the commission, would go board up the door to keep people out of it until something could be determined. But again, as Greg has said, it's an independent piece. It's part of the town history. If we just keep letting them all come down, we're going to lose everything. And I don't mean to be the nail in the coffin here, excuse my knowledge here, but I think that I'd like to see it assessed a little better before we jump and say, okay, let's just tear it down.
Anybody else, any other commission members have any comments or questions?
Well, I think clearly it's historically significant, so just following our protocol anyway, we would say, vote on it. And if everyone agrees it's historically significant, then it would move it to having a public hearing anyway, which would then give us the time to see if we could come up with some sort of plan to save it.
I like it. Always a stickler for protocol. That was good. Yeah, I mean, feel free to make a motion. Anyone?
I will make a motion that the property is historically significant.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none and seeing none. All those in favor of declaring the structure historically significant? Strange, aye.
Spencer, aye.
Bishop, aye.
Wolf, I.
Nikki, did you say aye? You cut out. Okay,
Yes,
so that's 4-0, unanimous. So Wayne, is there another motion we need to make, or is it automatically goes to a public hearing? How do we do
It
that?
goes to a public hearing. We're required to have one within 30 days of determining it's historically significant, or technically within notifying the building inspector, which I interpret as basically the date you determine it historically significant. So essentially, we have between now and Christmas Eve to schedule a public hearing. We have to post the public hearing 7 days ahead of the public hearing date. And we have to mail out certified notification to all the abutters.
And I'm assuming that's something you'll take care of through your part of the office or building department?
Technically, no. Technically, it is the applicant who is
Okay.
obligated to get the abutters list, do the certified mailings, and provide proof that the certified mailings were done before the public hearing is opened. As a courtesy, we sometimes do it ourselves, but it can get a little pricey when we start sending out certified mail to people. So the way it technically works is Ms. Green and the Friends Crossing Homeowners Group would request an abutters list from the Board of Assessors or the Assessor's Office. And then with that list, do certified mailing to all of those abutters and submit proof of that certified mailing before the public hearing is opened.
Thank you. for the
And
clar-
who do I submit the proof of mailing to?
You could email that to me. So you would, reach out to the assessor's office, Ellen or Brian, and ask for an abutters list for whatever this property is, 130 or 132 Lincoln.
130 Lincoln.
Yeah. And if it's not in their list as 130, ask about 132.
So abutters is just immediate abutters, or this neighbors across the street kind of neighbors, or is it just?
It's probably going to be neighbors across the street kind of neighbors. I think most most definitions of abutters are properties within 300 feet of
Okay.
the property.
300
And
feet.
so
Okay.
you might find that because it's on one parcel with the rest of the condo association, you might find yourself with abutters like way behind you.
I also think the assessor's office will be able to help you with the abutters list.
Oh, they do. They generate a list.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
they have
I was
software.
gonna say, doesn't town hall generate the list?
They do, yes.
I thought so for the applicant,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so
Yeah, so Ms.
that's-
Green, you can, and feel free, Wayne can help walk you through this, but the town will give you that list.
So then ahead of that, so we need to post the hearing. And what tends to work well is we post the hearing notice, it's a 1 page, and then Ms. Green would take that and that is the thing that gets mailed to the abutters. So my question for this group is, what is our hearing date? Being mindful that it has to be before Christmas Eve, and we need to post it 7 days ahead of that.
I don't have a calendar in front of me, but based on what I'd like to see happen here, and again, others can object or agree, is maybe we went a week before the final and do it that way to give Ms. Green time to do her work, which, you know, it's a busy time of year, as we all know, but also like to see if it could be arranged for any one of us that are interested to actually go visually try and get into the property with the approval of the HOA association to try and help make some assessments here. But I would say if we go a week before the, excuse me, before our deadline, I would.
Yeah, that would be the week of the
That would be
14th. That's what I was going to say, because we don't want to do it Christmas week. Are we
So
allowed to
if-
say Christmas week?
So if
I don't
we're
have.
doing it the 14th,
Excuse me.
15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, then we need 7 business days ahead of whatever date that is to
Right.
post it. So for days less than 10, it has to be business days. Days more than 10, it can be just calendar days.
So are we looking to pick a date certain? Is that what you're, are you
Yes.
trying to get?
Yeah,
Wanna do
let's
that
pick a date
Thursday of that
works.
week? Would
I'm
that,
sorry?
just to make sure, Thursday the 17th, just to make sure there's
Thursday, the
enough time?
17th.
That work for everybody?
I'm on board with that.
Nikki's a yes. Amy's a yes.
Works for me.
Okay, what time on Thursday, the 17th?
You know, and the 5:30 seems to be working pretty good for everybody. If that works out as well, that seems to be working all right. 5:30, depending upon what the town allows us to use the site for, but that seemed to be a
Sure.
time that's worked well for the majority of us.
That's okay with me. Ladies?
30 is the earliest I can make it.
Oh, do you want to do a little later? Is that hard?
I can do 5:30 is good. 6 is fine. Anything after that, but I'm not off work till 5.
5:30? Amy?
Yep, 5:30.
You out of the koi pond by then?
So I'm hearing 5:30, Thursday, December 17 is the Historical Commission hearing for 130 Lincoln Street. So therefore, we need to post it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want to have it posted by Tuesday, the 8th at the latest. And so, and I can do it earlier. So this is me thinking out loud. Sorry, it's not as you know, seamless as it might be otherwise. So I need to draft up what that notice looks like, get that to Ms. Green so she can get it mailed out. It can take the assessor's office, and Greg, you might be a little more familiar with the time frame of that, how long it takes them to generate an abutters list. I do it so rarely.
Yeah, it's changed, you know, and I'm not, maybe a week or so, but I don't want to speak. I know with COVID, it's been like everything, it's been off a little bit.
Everything's weird.
And Stephanie takes care of that much more than I do, so.
Right. So I think Ms. Green, you should reach out to the assessor's office as early as tomorrow, if you could, to ask for that abutters list.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we should, town hall is open tomorrow, 8:30 to 12:30. So tomorrow morning, there should be somebody in the assessor's office.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you can't get through, then of course, Monday, the 30th. All right. And then in the meantime, so folks are interested in taking a look in person. Do you want to just stop by independently? If you want to go inside, you'll have to obviously have the owners okay with that. Do you want to try and schedule sort of a site visit right now? Do you want to reach out to Ms. Green independently?
I'm pretty familiar with that building. I've been in it. previously, you know, so I just defer to the others. I don't really need to get back in.
I myself would like to try and take a quick peek inside. I mean, if it's easier for Ms. Green to say, hey, look through the window or look through the door, I'm fine with that. I don't have to physically go in the building, but as I said before, I've been laid up for a couple of weeks, so I'm just starting to get back out around. Otherwise, I would have actually physically gone by it before the meeting tonight.
Well, I think you really have to see it, because I think if you see the disrepair from when it was like, I'm sorry, I forgot Mr. Strange's first name.
It's Greg.
You said you were in it. Well, you can't go in it because there's no floor. So I don't know when you were in it.
That was about 6 years ago.
Yeah, so, well, I'm saying that, okay, fine. But I think what has to be done is people have to see the condition it's in.
Right. I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so
So,
I can meet you at any time. If you wanna, either my email or my cell phone, I can meet you.
and Bob, do you have Ms. Green's contact info? I could email you both after the meeting and you can make
That would be
arrangements that
fine.
way.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, and I can actually just email that to all four of you. And if you feel so moved, you can follow up that way. Does
Sure.
that sound okay? All right,
Perfect. Thank you.
And John too. John's always up for a good site visit.
okay. I'm making a note so I don't forget.
So do we need to continue this meeting? Do we have to do anything in terms of protocol?
No, the way this kind of thing flows is you determine if it's historically significant, which you guys did, and so it kicks to the public hearing.
I get you. So we're all right. So we don't have to terminate anything. Okay.
Correct. So we don't have to, like, open or close a public hearing or continue it.
So are we good on this? We all set?
I think so.
So, Ms. Green, do you have any more questions for us or anything? Or you-
No, I'm all set. I gotta get busy.
Great. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you and
Thank
have
you
a
for
nice
your help.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here tonight.
All right. I had the agenda up. Was that it?
We have one or two more things.
Oh, here it is.
And yeah, hold on a second.
Other pertinent items not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Running this meeting was not reasonably anticipated
Right.
by the acting chair.
You've done a good job on it.
But I have a new T-shirt on though. It's one of my COVID things.
Very nice.
I've been buying a lot of. I think this is a Grateful Dead lyric, if I'm not mistaken. So
And so as a heads up to Ms. Green, I think I'm taking you out of being a panelist now, and I don't know if you'll still be an attendee or if it'll go away completely. So I just want to give you a heads up. Okay, here we go.
yeah. So review of minutes. We didn't do a Lincoln Street other item, and then adjourn. Yeah.
cool.
So that's unless you
Okay.
did you say you had something, Wayne?
I did, yeah. The one thing I do have is the special town meeting Monday. The Hayward Pool Local Historic District is, of course, is a warrant article. I am going to be out of state for the holiday and therefore have to quarantine when I come back. Therefore, I cannot actually attend special town meeting. So
Oh.
therefore, I will not be able to have a speaking role at special town meeting. And I do not know how much of a speaking role is anticipated, if it'll be Connor or Stephanie or no one. So if folks from the commission are planning to attend special town meeting, I would encourage you to maybe be in touch with Stephanie and or possibly be prepared to talk a bit if that would be helpful.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be there because I have to present some zoning articles, or at least be
Oh, great.
prepared to present some zoning articles. So I will read up, not excluding anybody else from doing this, but I'm certainly I'll be there. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
If it's anybody else. All right. Is that it?
That is all I've got.
All right. Any commission members? I keep saying board members, forgive me. Any, anything? We good? No?
Nothing.
Amy, you win the room raider tonight. I like the cat.
Thank you.
The
It
cat.
We
was
hit it every
Patrick.
meeting.
Let's
I
see, the
had to
tapestry.
turn
tapestry.
turn to hide stuff in the room. So you get cats.
I wanted
Okay.
to ask Mickey if her associate was going to make another appearance again, or if she's hiding.
That would be her right here. Did you
Yeah.
not see me throwing the toy the whole meeting? I was trying to very subtly throw it.
I thought you were jazzercising.
She wanted to be part of it.
That's why I kept having to mute, is because she's not very big, but she was sitting there like ferociously growling. I was like,
We just thought you were hungry.
that toy.
Amy, we got to get you a Wildcat shirt if you're going to stay in Easton.
I know. Well, this is the mountain bike team,
Okay.
but
There you go. There you go.
not school associate or affiliated. But
Well, you went to that high school, didn't you?
yeah, you would think I should have like something with a tiger on it, but
Oh, well.
alas, no.
Well, thank you, everybody. Much
I will,
appreciated.
I'll
yeah.
make a motion that we adjourn until we reassess this Lincoln Street, and hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving at this time.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
second. And I just want to show you, since we're talking about special town meeting,
Oh, look
this
at
is
that.
a
Nice.
shot from 1890. This
Nice.
is Five Corners. Whoops. Compliments of the Easton Historical Society.
Yep.
You can see the old trolley, which was
Trolley, yeah.
discontinued in 1909. But the Furnace Village rezoning is a big item this year. We've been working on for about 2 years. So
Yeah, at least 2
Hopefully.
years.
we filmed Stephanie and I filmed a special on it, or an informative show. So hopefully those in attendance will have your support. We'd appreciate it. And so anyways, with that, after that shameless plug, thanks guys for attending, guys and girls, and everybody have a great.
Motion a second. Do we have we have to do the roll call vote? I'm sorry.
Oh, strange
Okay.
eye.
Spencer, I.
Bishop, aye.
Wolf eye.
Thank you,
I just love
everybody.
saying strange eye. So. All
All right, well,
kids.
thank you all for
you.
coming
Wayne,
tonight. Really
thanks.
appreciate
Have a
it.
great holiday, everybody. Safe travels,
Happy
Wayne.
Thanksgiving.
All righty.
right.
Bye, everyone. Be
Bye.
well.
Bye bye.